Hi, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you my favorite date night makeup look. This is more of like a dark, sultry type vibe, but I feel like it really works for any date night occasion or just going out in general. Like, doesn't necessarily have to be a date, but it's like the perfect nighttime makeup. So let's get into it. It is so windy outside where I live, so you might hear the wind. I'm sitting right by a window, so it's really loud. But try to ignore that. Anyway, to start off, this is more of like a full glam look, so I try to go with the more full coverage products that I have since I want my skin to look as flawless as possible. So to start off, I do want a little bit of glow to my skin, so I'm going to use the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. This is going to go under my base makeup. So this kind of is like a primer, but also just to keep my skin looking glowy. So put some of that on my hands and I'm just going to kind of rub that around. On top of that, for foundation, I'm going in with the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint. I know this is called a skin tint, but it has like very good coverage actually. It's not the coverage of a skin tint. So I don't know why they call it a skin tint, but in my opinion, it's not. It's more of like a foundation, I would say. More of a lighter coverage foundation, but yeah, it has way too much coverage to be considered a tint if you ask me. But you'll see in just a second. So whenever I'm going for like a more full glam look, this is usually the product that I use because it's one of the more full coverage products that I own. I don't have a lot of like real foundations because I don't really ever wear them, so I just feel like it's unnecessary. This is in the shade Classic Ivory, and it's a pretty good match for my skin right now, I would say. But I'm going to blend that out with a sponge. So I'm just taking the sponge and I'm going to start blending that all out. And I would say this product is buildable, so after I go in with this first layer, if there is areas that I want to be more covered, I'll just add a little bit more, and I feel like it builds really well, and you can kind of make it the coverage that you want. Like this area, that pimple right there, I'll probably add a little bit more on top of that. But for the most part, it has really good coverage. I mean, obviously there's a lot better full coverage foundations out there. I'm not saying that this is like the best, but for a skin tint, I would say it has a lot of coverage. Moving on to concealer, I'm going in with the Rare Beauty concealer today. This is in the shade 190W, and I'm going to take this and just put a little bit all over my face where I normally conceal. This stuff is really full coverage, so I don't like to use a ton of it, but and then whenever I use this concealer, because it's more of like a it's more of a summer shade for me. It's not the best match right now. I like to go in with a little bit of this LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is just a super light shade, and I just kind of like add a little bit of that, and it just kind of like makes it so it matches my skin better. And to blend that out, I'm using my concealer brush. That's what it looks like. This is from Amazon, and I love this brush. It's so good. Since I used a sponge today, after I blend most of it out with the brush, I do like to go in with the sponge and just kind of like give it one more blend. I feel like it just kind of melts the product into your skin the best. I'm gonna do my under eyes. And then same thing, I do like to finish it off with the sponge. Moving on to bronzer, I'm using the Makeup by Mario bronzer stick. Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick is actually what it's called. This is in the shade Light Medium. That's what it looks like. Mine is broken, so I have to use this little brush to get it out. But I'm going to take that and then put that on my face where I usually put my cream bronzer. So basically right on my cheekbone, then my forehead. And I actually kind of like using the brush. I feel like it's more precise than the stick. So honestly, it's not all that bad, but it kind of sucks that it's broken. And then I'm going to do my nose too. And then I like to put a little bit on my eyelids. We are going to go in with eyeshadow today, but I just like to have something there. And a little bit like under my lip. To blend, I'm using my normal cream bronzer blending brush, the e.l.f. Duo Complexion brush, and as always going in with the big side first to blend out the product around the outside of my face. And I just tap that in. I don't do like swiping motions, but I more just tap it in until it's all blended out. Same with the forehead, just tap that product in. And then I like to take what's left over on my brush and just run that on my jawline, especially when my hair is all pulled back so that my face looks as snatched as possible. For the product on my eyelids, I'm also going to use the big side of the brush and just start blending that out. Always pulling it up towards my temples. Again, it just helps your face look more lifted. You don't want to drag anything down. Always want to blend upwards. And then for my nose, I'm going to take the small side and I just lightly start blending that out with the brush, and I always bring it up into the inner corners of my eye just to connect everything together, and then it's all one like seamless blend in this area. The bronzer is on, but I am going to go in with one more product before I start with blush, and it is also from Makeup by Mario, one of my favorite products of all time. It's the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, and it pretty much is like a cream bronzer almost. I'm almost out, but I don't know. It's different. The formula is a little bit different, so I'm going to take some of that and just lightly pat that all over where I put the bronzer, like the contour stick, and I don't know, I just feel like this just adds a little something to that, and it just melts into the skin really nice. So just adding that. Sometimes I do this after blush, but today I'm doing it before because that is just how I'm feeling. Next up we have blush, and I'm going in with one of the e.l.f. Camo liquid blushes. That is what it looks like. This is in the shade Copper Etiquette. I've never used this one before, so hopefully it looks good. Kind of worried, but I like how it's a little bit darker, and I don't know, I just like the undertones of it. It's kind of like an orangey, it's like, I don't know, peachy, orangish undertones. Putting it on the back of my hand first though, because whenever I use these e.l.f. blushes, I always put it on my face and then I go way overboard and it looks crazy. And because I've never used this color before, kind of concerned and I don't want it to ruin everything. But I just put it on the back of my hand. That's what it looks like. For this look, I always like to use kind of like a deeper blush because I feel like it's more of that like dark sultry type vibe. Not sure how this one's going to work out, but we're going to try something new today because I'm feeling crazy. I'm going to take my usual blush brush and I'm going to just dip into the blush and kind of pat it out on the back of my hand just so I don't overdo it with the product. And I'm trying to go in light and then build it up, but we'll see. So I'm just going to start adding that to my cheeks slowly, just to make sure that I like it. I feel like that looks pretty. So I'm just working that up my face towards my temple, adding some to the other side. Trying to be light-handed so I don't mess it up. I don't know if I love this blush, but we're just gonna go with it. I don't think it's a new fave of mine, but it's not bad. Next, I'm gonna go in with some powder though, just to kind of set all the cream products around my face. So I'm going in with my Milk Makeup just translucent setting powder, and I'm taking this little puff and I'm going to start by setting my under eyes. And then once that's done, I just take what's left over. There's not really much left, but I just kind of like set everywhere else on my face that I mainly put the concealer. I want my blush to be a little bit more pink, a little brighter, so I'm gonna go in with this Milani Baked blush in the shade Luminoso. That's what it looks like, and I'm just taking this really small e.l.f. stippling brush and I'm going to put that on, mainly focusing it on like this part of my cheeks, just because I want to brighten that up a little bit. And this does have a shimmer to it, so it looks really pretty on the skin. Now I'm going in with actual highlighter, and the highlighter I'm using today is from Fenty Beauty. It's the Freestyle Highlighter Duo. This is the shade, or the Kilowatt Duo. One shade is Lightning Dust, one shade is Fire Crystal. And that is what it looks like. I'm going in with the more muted highlighter, this one right here. And I'm taking this and putting it on the very high points of my face only. And what this does is, again, it just helps your face look more lifted and just highlights the, I don't know, like that high points of your cheekbones. So it kind of gives like an illusion of high cheekbones. And then I like to put it on my brow bone too, just a little bit. And then my nose. Before I move on to eyeshadow, I am going to put in some brow gel. So I'm just taking the NYX the Brow Glue and running that through my eyebrows. Moving on to eyeshadow, I'm pretty much just using one palette, which is the Makeup by Mario palette, the Master Mattes palette. This basically has all the colors that I need. This eyeshadow look isn't anything too crazy, but it just gives you like the perfect sultry, like dark eye look. So first off, I'm going in with the base, which is going to be this brown color right here. And I'm just going to lightly put that all over my eyelids. This is not going to be a brown eyeshadow look. I'm just using this as a base for my eyelids. The main eyeshadow is going to be black, but it's going to be focused kind of on my, like the, I don't know, why can't I think of the word? Where you put eyeliner, like right there on your eye. Anyway, I'm going to take the brown and just start adding that all over my eyelid just to add a base and kind of like give some depth to my eye, brushing that out a little bit towards my temple. I have the brown eyeshadow on, so next up I'm going in with the black, and this is mainly going to be the rest of the eyeshadow look, is just using this black eyeshadow to kind of smoke out my lash line, and I'll do a wing too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, like, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like this little compact eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to dip into the black right here. And what I'm going to do is just run that on my lash line. I'm going to mainly focus it probably from like here out. I'm not going to drag it all the way down yet. So I just apply it like that. And then I'm going to take this brush here and I'm going to blend that out. So basically it's just going to smoke out that black that I just added to my lash line. I do kind of bring that towards the inner corner, whatever's left on this blending brush, but I don't actually put any down here. And then I just kind of smoke it out. So it's very light so far, but that's kind of like the base of the black eyeshadow. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend that. Now what I'm going to do is just take what's ever left over on this brush here and kind of run that on my lower lash line. Just on the outer corner though. You could use black eyeliner and put it on your waterline. I just don't really like what I look like when I do that, so I opt out of that, but that I feel like does look really good with a darker eyeshadow look like this. And I don't know, it just gives like a nice like dark vibe, but I just don't like my face with that, so I'm gonna leave it out. But I kind of just run the black eyeshadow along my waterline and it kind of gives the same effect, but not. Now I'm gonna add an actual wing. So I'm using the black eyeshadow still, but I'm taking this angled brush and then I'm going to add a small black wing right on the outer corner of my eye. Just like that. And I'm not smudging this out. I want this to be like visible and dark. So doing the same thing on both sides. I have the wing on. I feel like this one looks longer than this one a little bit. Hopefully that's more even. But one final thing that I like to do is I like to take just a little bit more of the black eyeshadow and I like to add a little bit to the very inner corner of my eye just to give myself like that cat eye look. I feel like it also makes your eyes look longer and bigger. So I take a little bit of that in the very inner corner of my eye. So it looks like that. It's kind of hard to see on camera, I feel like, but just lightly drag it down there. Last step for the eyes is mascara, so I'm taking my eyelash curler first and I'm curling my lashes. This look would also look very cute with falsies, but I don't have any to put on. But I'm just going to curl my lashes a lot to help them look longer and more full. For mascara, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Lash and Roll. And I'm going to put a bunch of this on, so start going into that until I feel like my lashes are looking very dark and long. And then I always do my bottom lashes as well. Last step for the day is lips, and I'm going in with another one of these NYX lip liners. This is a new color that I just got yesterday. This is in the shade Cuff Me. This is more of like a pink color, so I'm going to take that and then outline my lips with this. This is probably my favorite shade that I have so far. The other two that I have are more like brown undertones, and this one's like very pink. I want to get like all the shades because this product is so good. I talk about it in my last video, but these are like nothing I've ever used before. It's a lip liner that's also a lip stain. And then I like to take a little bit of it and just like add it on the inner part of my lip and then use my finger to blend it out a little bit. And then for lipstick, I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick. And I feel like these two products go so good together. Okay, and that completes this date night makeup look. Like I said in the beginning, you don't necessarily just have to do this for a date night. I think it can work for any like nighttime going out makeup look. It's just a very dark, sultry, like cool vibe in my opinion. So whether you're going out with like your partner or with your friends, I feel like this is just like the perfect look, and it's relatively easy to achieve. It's pretty much just using the black eyeshadow as, I don't know, it's pretty much just using black eyeshadow to make your eyes look more like elongated and kind of smoked out a little bit. I use the eyeshadow as eyeliner because I don't like using liquid liner. I think eyeshadow's a lot easier and more forgiving. I'm not very skilled with the black eyeliner, so that's why I choose eyeshadow. But you can do whatever you want. It's just kind of like a black smoked out look, and I feel like it's perfect for any nighttime occasion. So I really hope that you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!